Hey, let's try that again. Hey everybody, welcome to the LiveCast Conversation With, brought to you by Pealed Back, and this is episode 74. As always, I'm your host, Gene, and on today's show we have my good friend, Steve Fleiszer. Steve is the co-founder and president of Space Creatorz, a full-service digital marketing agency based out of Nova Scotia, Canada. In January 2021, and after experiencing toxic work environments, he was inspired to create a business where work meant a happy, healthy experience that enhanced the lives rather than taking away from it with his partner, Janette. Their team accomplishes this through focusing on creating the space that their clients need to focus on what they love, what they are best at, and what brings them the most joy. Steve's ability to provide a clear, compelling, concise messaging can be seen firsthand through his regular postings of insights and thought-provoking questions on LinkedIn. His skill to condense meaning into a few words is inspiring. Steve, thanks so much for being on episode 74.
Cheers, man. I've been really looking forward to it, and obviously our relationship has grown since we first met on LinkedIn and consider you a friend, but have enjoyed the show for a while. So yeah, feel very privileged to be able to be on today and chat with you a bit.
Well, that privilege is very much shared, my brother. So thank you. So tell us a little bit about your journey of starting an agency, especially in 2021. Already a lot of things have been on the go. So let's talk about the challenges you experienced, and now how are you changing that moving forward?
Yeah, I would love to. And just as you said, in the bio there, it does really illustrate a lot of our journey and the ethos of why we started what we did. I do think this would resonate with you strongly too. Our name, Space Creatorz, with our agency, it was actually as much about the professional side and the culture for our agency and our team, but it also was really born out of our personal lives and our personal growth and things that we had found really were working for us. So again, just, very short, but this idea of leaning into the things that we love, that we're good at doing, and then finding other people that like doing the things or have different skills that we were not given naturally, right? And I used to make the mistake of thinking that everyone thought like me. I'm really glad they don't. It would be a scary world if everyone did. But it's awesome because you can really find people that love doing things that you would think are, no one could pay you enough money to do it. And we all have such diverse experience and can come together and do really great things. So again, as we leaned more of that in our personal development, the light bulb kind of went off that, hey, a lot of this could apply to a much better working and professional environment. And really, it has worked quite well. We've been very fortunate to be able to do that. But also, as you mentioned, I have worked for myself most of my life, but I did work in a bit more of a corporate position doing high-level sales, and it was very interesting. Successful business, made a lot of money, a lot of really great people that worked there, really smart, motivated, amazing people. I made tons of friends, lifelong friends while I was working there, and we did some really great work together. But I'm not afraid to say the upper management and as many people will relate to, set the culture as it manages down. And it was, as you mentioned, it was a very toxic environment.
Yeah.
Rotating door of employees. People were always scared to lose their job. Really led to a lot of yes people. So not a lot of even getting to use the diverse skills that the team had, right? A lot of just followers and following in line. And so again, had the perception that, hey, yes, you can make money in business running a company like this and using fear to kind of control and manipulate employees. But as our personal growth journey was going on at the same time, just kind of hit a breaking point where, hey, like, things don't need to be like this. We believe it can be done in a different way, a better way, a more holistic way where work can really be something you enjoy doing. You can do it from anywhere with the technologies available today. And if you make that environment, you'll be able to recruit better people. And you see me talk about it on LinkedIn all the time, and you definitely get this. The idea of taking care of yourself first is going to allow you to fill your cup and take care of others. And
so much.
We really are trying to bring that to our team and the people that we work with. So we don't outwardly market that to clients, but on our internal manifesto, it really is about trying to take care of our internal team first and create this lifestyle that complements work, and that these things can be combined, but then not stress you out all the time and add to your life. And of course, the trickle down to the work and creative work that we do for our clients is going to deliver tenfold. So that's really it.
Yeah, man. Like I like preach. First off, like it's big props to you and your wife for creating the creator space around that, seeing that divergence while you're in like that toxic gets used a lot, but it sounds like it's still that perfect fit for what you experience. It's like, oh, I'm starting to wake up to going, what is it that I want? How do I want to show up? Oh, it's not this. Oh,
Totally.
I can either like put up and just like be unhappy knowing where that's going to go, or I can I guess I'm going to have to be the change I want to see in the world. Oh, damn it.
That's it. That is it, though, right? And this idea of letting life happen to you, or having a more great. My computer's going funky. Give me a second.
All right.
Split. Are we back?
I can hear you.
Am I frozen on you? Great.
Here. You are frozen. If you try stop the camera, sometimes that works.
Yeah, here. I gotcha. Back? Nope.
Nope. Different frozen mug.
That's great.
It's a very thoughtful pose, though.
Well, I mean, we could probably just continue without the live for now, and we'll see if it comes back in.
For sure.
Yeah. Because, I've been paused on worse looking faces than that. Awesome. Yeah, that's
but yes, where we left off was you decided to be the change that you wanted to see out there in the world.
100%. And again, and I also am always cognizant too, because as much as it does start top down with these things, and you do have to be the change, I am a huge believer in the people you surround yourself with. So again, as our team continues to grow, that's just as important that they're all bought in and have the same core values, and that type of environment resonates with them. And when it does, it really leads to great things. So even though we started it, like anything in life, you still need to surround yourself with the right people that kind of have the same goals and mindset to help bring it to life. And that's it. I'm a big believer in manifestation, but manifestation plus action. And I believe that part is what separates many of us from having ideas and then doing.
Well, yeah, it's. I always joke with the secret that came out years and years ago. It's just like it's not just about that manifestation component. It is so much more. You actually have to put the action into it, and those two pieces, like, they're critical to that whole story. Is like, without like that compelling future that you want to move to, then you're just kind of spinning your wheels doing the actions. But you put those two together, and you get some magic happening.
Yeah, I think we already said it too. It's just a little bit of the difference of mindset around thinking that the things will come and happen to you, or a little bit more digging into the law of attraction, and that it takes then that movement and making it happen and living it. And when that step comes in, then it's pretty amazing to watch how quickly they do unfold with that intention. And again, even I do believe in the power of people on that side too. So then actively focusing on relationships and who you surround yourself with the types of people you hang out with will help accelerate that tenfold.
Oh, 100%, right? It's like if we view them all as it becomes like a magnet there. Oh, I think we've got you back.
Might have fixed the camera.
Hey, it's back. Just as Chris was saying, sing a song from Frozen and it'll kick it back on.
How? That's actually quite funny. My son is watching Frozen downstairs right now.
There you go, Kristen.
Krista. Not today. I'm not Tom.
So now this allows you guys to create like these opportunities for people to like actually be in their creative standpoint, right? Like instead of worrying about investing that energy in like the gossip or like trying to defend themselves or just like get out of work alive, like that's a real thing. I use air quotes, but like mentally it's just as exhausting as anything else. Now they get to take all that energy and just do incredible stuff. So you guys have been at it for a year. So what's this year taught you about like standing in that and leading from that place?
For sure. And important to note, we rebranded as Space Creatorz at the beginning of the year. So our agency has existed in a form before that. But this last year has been obviously, and it's been more than a year now. So
yeah,
I do think that what we were on to was kind of lucky in a sense, because we were a bit ahead of what a lot of people have naturally been starting to wake up to, I believe. And this time has just really shook up a lot of our realities. And I think for many of us that were on a hamster wheel because our jobs felt safe and this and that, and you were probably putting up with crap that you now are thinking like, hey, I don't need to do that. So really what this year has taught me is that some of these ideals we had are probably more important now than ever, as people are starting to really question these things themselves on an individual basis. For us, it's been a great opportunity to recruit some great talent, people that are looking for something a little bit different culturally. And I do believe the biggest thing that we have been learning and needed even more as everything is just completely remote now is just these very strong systems to rely on. And there's a lot of great technologies to do, but to be able to manage projects, keep an eye on everything and clarity so that we meet deadlines and get our work done. But it's so freeing because once you have those systems in, it's not like, hey, Gene, punch the clock, waste probably 40% of your time when you're here because you're just wanting to punch out. It's really like, hey, when you're punched in and doing the work, just focus, get it done. So when you're home, you can go and do all the other things that enrich your life and put your intention there. And that's what it's taught me, is like thinking about it differently, and the ways that we're necessarily told things have to work are not always, and I would argue generally not necessarily the best way to do things. And again, this isn't a new theory. Thinking outside the box and questioning things is something I have always embraced and enjoy, but I love that more people are doing that, because humans, for all our faults, we can do a lot of cool stuff. And when we put our intention in the right place and collaborate and work together and find common ground of understanding, we can do super cool stuff. So and do it fast. Like
we can underestimate how much we can accomplish, right? When we're doing it over a period of time. And fast is like, it's an interesting word, right? Because like a lot can happen in a month or in a quarter, but also like a ton can happen in a year, 2 years, 3, and like radical change can happen.
Well, and that is another learning lesson of this year is, again, hey, especially in marketing and our business development, we're making plans and looking ahead, but we learned a long time ago, but it's more relevant now than ever. 10-year plans, probably not worth spending too much brain space on that, because whatever we think is going to happen 5 years, 10 years, very likely our reality is going to look very different. So we focus pretty strong on quarter sprints, and plan a year in advance max, knowing that, hey, any more planning ahead is probably a bit of a waste of energy. And at that point, we're starting to think about higher, broader goals that we want to achieve, in the feelings and things that are a little bit more bigger picture, a little less detailed in how it would have to happen.
100% agree. Like walking through strategy planning with clients and stuff now, it's just like, okay, you get to that 5-year mark, it's just like, let's put some like metrics, like high level, like if we can fit it on a sticky note, that's as much resolution that you're giving it, but like let's give it enough to like be compelling, and probably in our current state, like enough to scare you that you know you're going to have to do the work to do it, and be okay with like going, we're going to get there, and it might be we're going to reevaluate every, like if we're reevaluating every year what 5 years from now is going to look like, and it's going to continue to be like, let's agree it's going to be a little bit scary, let's agree it's going to feel out of reach, so that we can pull for it and like actually have that desire for it.
100%. And I believe in marketing and digital, our industry, that might come a little bit more naturally, just because social media, for example, tons of new platforms pop up, and you have to keep your eye on all of them. But then all of a sudden, hey, here's TikTok, and it's growing faster than Instagram ever did, and everyone's trying to figure it out. I mean, if you had this concrete, this would be absolutely ludicrous to do, but like a 5-year plan for your social, it's just crazy. Tools change, technology change, how we adopt technology as a society changes. Something like a pandemic comes and expedites our adoption of certain technologies. You just Zoom as an example, amazing, right? Like how much growth, and how this like extra out of left field thing happened, and 100%. Totally grew them.
Well, I even look at things like in the last like 18 months, like so like NFTs, like neither for nor against. Was in the blockchain space in some of the startups. I get what's like really behind all of them, but like it's a new type of platform. You look at VR, like VR's been around forever, but all of a sudden now you look like Oculus and these other things, like they're in everybody's, like they're in a lot of people's homes. Like I've got one upstairs, I love it, but like it's gonna change the way that, again, how we do work and how we interact.
Totally. Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. Yeah. We're gonna have to get Krista to start singing the Frozen song for us.
Everyone would like that way more. Yeah, apologize, man. No idea what's going on with the freezing here, but sorry.
Yeah. The show continues on anyways, right?
Yeah, sorry. Can you just repeat the last 5 seconds of what you were saying? I was trying to scramble to say this thing.
So I was just saying, like, like trying to plan. Well, I'll try do my best to bottom line it here. It's like to stack on to what you were talking about, like when you're thinking about 5-year planning or like long-term planning, it's like it's not about like connecting to like this platform or that platform. It's more about like the goals, the feelings that you want to overarching be for your company. Because like things like the pandemic, things like VR, things like an NFT are going to come along and might change your day-to-day or your quarterly tactical towards it, but it still lives and moves you towards your your overall feeling in the direction with it.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And I just couldn't agree more. To put that time and energy into those fundamental things, those core foundational elements are the ones that, and of course there's still going to be room for those things to evolve and change, but they're going to be much more concrete and be a bit of a guiding star to help you navigate some of those other things that come along and opportunities. It'll gain you so much clarity when you have to make some of those decisions.
100%. So Helen put a question up for us. Curious if so we actually got a question from the audience.
Hey, Helen.
Alan's curious if planning for ambiguity and adoption has to be part of the strategy moving forward. Oh, like,
Ooh,
God, I would
not
say
surprised.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, 110%. And this is a concept that actually Mike, who's now working with us, and you know well,
Yeah.
has put me on to, Gene, and I really love it, is this idea of picking your even overs. And again, some of that, when you're doing this planning, I believe, leaves you a lot of room to be adaptable, because when those opportunities come, you're able to, again, have a lot more direction on, hey, these are the things that are deal breakers, so we can make a decision based off that. And just to backtrack a little bit, an even over would be something that you have decided culturally comes even over something else, right? So it might be that growth this quarter is more important to us even over culture, right? Like,
Right.
depending where we are, if we're being very honest as a business, or vice versa, right? For us, long term, we are always going to make the best decision for the culture of our company, even over growth. And again, those things can change, but doing that work at the beginning helps to be adaptable as these different things come, and is a really strong practice that I'm thankful he educated me on. It's a really cool one.
Yeah, and I think to stack onto that for Helen's question is, like, you look at some of those, like, strategic planning as like anchor points, and like, what's an anchor attached to? A ship, and that anchor can get pulled up at any point, right? Like, it is never set in stone, and it can be changed and allow it to be malleable and allow it to go based on what we know today. This is what we think we can project, and like, humans are like the worst at like trying to estimate times and everything else, right? But we're like you said earlier, incredibly great at creating. But if we have like this idea about, we think we want to be here, what would it take then to start moving towards there, to learn, to adapt? And every day that you're taking those steps is like, I'm going to learn something new. Like, 600 years ago the world was flat. Well, we know that's not the case, right? We know that's not the case.
I mean, we know, depends on...
We know.
Kyrie Irving might disagree with you, but yes.
Right? Like,
I'm pretty sure.
But like, there's so many things that at one point we thought were for sure. Because we continue to learn, we're like, oh, actually, that wasn't for sure. That was just a thing we knew. Like, something that you know today is malleable. Like, it's going to change.
I love what you just said there. This is my favorite piece of philosophy. Plato, I say this all the time. All I know is I know nothing, right? Yes. And I do, for me, when I speak, and it's easy for humans, and I think it's in our nature to want to make these concrete assumptions about reality, because it's a very complicated thing, and we want to make sense of it for survival, safety. I imagine we're hardwired to do so. But I don't know, since I was young, I've always been a questioner. I've always thought things. I remember being a kid driving around in the car being like, oh, if I was an alien, someone was telling me about this planet, and we have like road signs guiding us in these highways we've built out of this like material called asphalt that we make in these, like, it's unbelievable the things that exist here. So I find it, for me as an observation, just asinine for any human to be so sure about anything in life. And so that's just the perspective I always take. I try to take into things. It can be hard, and you need to remind yourself, but like, nothing is certain. Again, I think the last 2 years have really proven that to more people that would not have been as open to that discussion before, but 100%. Totally vibing with you on that one.
Well, and I think that leads to like what you were talking about before, like tiptoeing around like the concept of the Great Resignation. Is like, this time has shown people what is important, and what used to be certain, now they're like, fuck it. Like, we'll figure it out. Be like, they were realizing, like, oh, I could actually just go figure it out and have a chance to be happy, or I could be certain in my unhappiness.
Totally.
So, Yeah, right. Like, so where do they want to go? And they're making people are now making different choices with their feet and with their choice of employment. And for you guys, right? Like you've hired great talent like Mike and other people to your team because you're living from like this principled place of wanting to create this space for everybody. And when I was doing some research on Space Creatorz, like on your site, you talk about lining up people on your team within the projects that they enjoy being on too.
And that's it. And that kind of like I spoke about at the beginning is like, hey, we don't have to be so fit square piece into square hole. There can be, it doesn't have to be that concrete in work, right? And again, you can have a space where, hey, someone might come with certain skills, but we're humans and we like to evolve. So what's even better than just saying, hey, you're better at that than most people, so we're just gonna have you do that from now until forever because that's what you're good on. I don't really care, if you love doing it, you're interested in it. You just tap into your experience or gifts. You're better than most, so that's what you do now. And hey, here comes a project. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
It's like you're a bricklayer.
Yeah.
And all you're gonna do is lay bricks for the rest of your life. Be like, I hate laying bricks. I'm good at it, but I hate it.
All to say, if you are the person that is in flow and in bliss, laying bricks, then we'll bring you a dump truck of bricks. And like, I think that's amazing too. People that have found that early, I mean, I'm envious of. I think that's awesome. And that's great. If it's bringing you a ton of satisfaction, you're better at it than most people, but you really love doing it and you lose track of time while you're doing it. And, you're in that real amazing fourth quadrant of just like, again, pure flow by all means. But if you happen to be here and you're doing this because you're skilled, but you have interest in other things, well, what's really cool in digital marketing and an agency is we have a breadth of services and we work with all different types of industries and clients of different sizes. So again, it's really fun and to watch people get to be brought different types of opportunities and continue to gauge, hey, is this something you might be interested in? Let you challenge yourself. Or hey, if you want to educate yourself with something else, so many resources now to do so and further yourself. And that really is our philosophy.
And it's resonating as well. Like, thanks again, Helen. But it is really like, I think I view all jobs, regardless of if you're sitting behind a truck, if you're actually laying a brick versus like designing like the next website or the next space shuttle, be like, it's all a creative job. It is. There's creativity within all of that. It's all a creative space, and you need to be able to. And if you can sit, like you say, sit in that and just love it, be like, you got it figured out. Like this. More people want to be like looking around you, going, "How do you do that?
Totally.
How do you get that? That's incredible." Be like, I don't know. It was always just inside of me, right? And but to the others who are still searching for that, I think there's a component of like just being aware that it's okay to search for that. It's okay to be like, hey, you're really good at this thing.
Yeah.
And now like you may have just like loved it at one point when you're like, I need a little bit more variety. I need a little bit more spice. Like, what's that next thing? And it's okay to have like a skill and be good at it and go, I'm ready to like relearn how to master something else.
I love that, Gene. I think that's such an important point and one not to leave out because I resonate with that. And I think most people would like, hey, I don't know what that thing is yet, and would never want someone to feel bad about that or discouraged because, life happens and we have, again, I really do believe in this idea that you do need to find some fulfillment in the journey and enjoy it, right? Because
100%.
I do believe in that. It's always going to be some form of that. So again, like the process of finding that can be fun and sometimes trying things that you don't like, or anything in life when it doesn't work out, you learn the most. So again, it's more in my mind, just don't like sit back and back to what we said earlier, just think it's going to happen to you. As long as you're taking some active approach to try to figure it out, that's what I would take pride in, and not be too upset if you don't know it right away.
Oh yeah, and I think there can also be this balance, right? Like, well, let's put it in the space of being at an agency, right? You've got somebody who's like really good at like email marketing, and they're like, oh, I want to try my hands at some other things. Be like, okay, we can create the space for you to try those other things, and like, you're incredible at this. Can you continue to help us until we can get, you can either start to mentor. Now here's an opportunity to take you being a doer. Now you can be a teacher of this. Well, maybe somebody else is teaching you, like making you their apprentice on that next set of skills. Like, what a way to like benefit everybody and everything within that.
Totally. And I'll take it furthermore, and it's something that's not easy when you run a company to live, but we really are trying to practice this the best we can, which is this idea of, if somebody comes and works with you, right, and they're doing their thing and they grow and you teach them a lot, and they actually decide, hey, maybe I want to run my own company, or hey, there's actually this other company, and where my life has gone, I'm super interested in this other thing. I want to follow it. To just take this idea and remember it when you're the one that's running the company, that hey, our best approach there, and we're really living by our ideals, is like, hey, let me shake your hand on the way out. Let me actually see what I can do to support you on that journey of learning. And like, hey, let's stay connected, and love everything you've done, and we'll always support you on your journey, and who knows where it'll go. And again, that's been a bit of a personal journey to get there, but it's very fulfilling. It actually is super rewarding when someone comes in, evolves, and then follows another dream when you live that truly and you believe in it.
Oh, 100%. It does. Like, I've had team members that have worked for me at my companies in the past where they're like, oh, I got this really great opportunity. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love what you're doing here, and it's unfortunate that we don't have the capacity or the space for you to grow, but we've got you to a point. Now, out of the nest you go. Like, high fives the entire time.
Love
right?
it.
Like,
couldn't agree more.
It is so important.
Yeah, and that's cool. I saw Amanda made a comment here too, and this is something, again, that I believe it's been very interesting over the last 2 years as our day-to-day has been interrupted. One of the positive outcomes or silver linings is, I believe, a lot of people have taken this extra time to start exploring some of these things that they didn't, and really realizing that things have changed with learning as well, and we have such an access to information.
Yeah, and I think Amanda's right. Like, you never know when you're going to stumble into that next thing that you love, right? And the only way to find it is you got to go do some sampling. Are you still there, Steve?
We're having such a strange thing happen in the StreamYard game. It's definitely on my end, brother. Can you hear me?
I can still hear you, yeah.
So
I love the facial expression that you're frozen at now.
I know, this one was not as flattering. I didn't get as lucky on this one. Yeah, I'm sorry though, brother. I do not know what is going on. Something about my browser is not liking StreamYard.
That's all good. We're still having some incredible gems of a conversation here, so.
Oh, I'm glad. I feel terrible. Sorry about this, man.
Oh well, we'll put this in your personal record for safekeeping.
Cheers.
Speaking of those horrible things, bosses there.
Here, I'm gonna try one thing here. Just bear with me for 30 seconds. Let me see if I can clean this up for the last second.
Do that. While Steve's doing that, thank you to everybody who's been putting comments and following along today. We love seeing that and engaging with you. If there's any other questions that you want to hear Steve or me go on to, definitely put them in the comments. We can see them from LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And then we have the quiet space. We're going to give Steve a couple minutes here to get back. All right, we're going to give Steve another minute here to see if we're going to be able to get him back into it. Any other questions around this topic about taking the bravery to sample some new things in our lives? Oh, and he's back. There he is.
All right, we are on the cell phone. Oh, sorry about that, man, but I'm pretty confident we'll at least be smooth to finish here.
All right. Well, yeah, you know what? Technical aside, it just means that I can be prepped better in the future for when those kind of things happen. So I'm gonna need to get
I'm sorry, man. Yeah, for whatever reason, I honestly think it was my browser with SteamYard because I don't use Chrome or Safari, so maybe it's just blocking something. Was working great when we were doing all the testing, of course, but no, I appreciate it. But yeah, this should be good now.
So where do you what's the vision for 2022 here with Space Creatorz?
Oh, that's great. Our vision is, there's a few parts to it, but one, honestly, is some of the stuff we talked about with our culture, over a year in now with our new brand, a lot of revisiting things like, are we living the things that we talked about? It's easy to get a little bit of shiny object syndrome when you're running a business. So we definitely are checking back in some of those, kicking off a new year for us. We're very fortunate. We have a lot of work. So it's a lot about just systems and making sure our processes are in place to keep delivering for our clients and to allow us to scale. The other big part that we do that I think is pretty cool as an agency and forward thinking is in and around augmented reality, which I know you were talking about before with VR and AR as well, so XR in general. So we're looking at doing more of that. We're working on some cool projects right now in augmented reality for some of our clients, but then also looking at some other cool things too to explore as we continue to grow, that I'm pretty excited about. And and again, just keep hopefully growing the team and doing cool stuff.
That's really awesome. I think augmented reality is going to be a neat add-on into that VR space, right? With you can do so much with your phones, and let's be realistic. Our glasses soon enough are going to live the HoloLens or the Google Lens dream at some point. We're going to look at it and be like, boom, there's the ad popping up. So what kind of, can you tip your hat a little bit about where you guys are exploring with AR right now?
Well, right now we are still in a stage, I think, with AR, and you spoke to this earlier. It's a bit of a slower adoption with some of these things, and a lot of clients and businesses really want to see how their digital campaigns, they're very much want to see how it will measure to certain KPIs. And there are ways you can do it with some new applications of augmented reality through some new cool like Facebook ads and things that you can do. But to be totally transparent, we are definitely still in a stage of getting some of our clients comfortable with it, seeing the benefits of it. So it's very much like, it's not we don't, although we have done this, like social media filters and stuff are pretty cool. We're trying to do more like elevated experiences with some of our clients' brands, where we have a company, they sell outdoor doormats for your front door, right? And they're hand painted and really cool, and they have like the funny sayings that people like hope you like plants, or don't mind the dog hair and that type of stuff. And so what's cool is a lot of what she does in terms of her marketing is shows people how they could decorate their front door beyond the mat, right? And how it can be seasonal. But what we thought would be cool is, hey, let's use augmented reality, so if you like a mat, you can see it in front of your house, right? Using your phone, and go hold it up. It's really good because at that point you're able to visualize this product in your house, and it just gives you this extra layer. And honestly, it's just really fun and cool to do, and leads to some brand resonance as well. And her product in particular also comes with a layering rug, so again, you can mix and match and kind of see what it will actually look like. As online shopping has definitely become adopted much faster than it had been in the past, these are things that I believe are really forward thinking to help people feel comfortable with their purchase, make the experience a little more tangible, as if you were in touching the product and getting to see it. So again, things like that. Working on a cool project with one of our clients I can't unfortunately talk about now, but hopefully we'll be able to give an update on soon in the future. That's going to be pretty cool too.
Well, it sounds like the rug one for sure is like a great use of AR, right? Like it's built right into the product. Like finding the right space and the right fits, especially in these early days. Great place. Goes right back to the sampling, right?
Totally.
Like 2 years ago, nobody on the team would have been playing with that stuff, and now there's people that get to experience it, get to learn it, get to be part of the wild west of it, and we'll have the stories down the road and the experiences to share.
You're totally right. Another cool application of it is we made one for a gourmet cookie company. You'd go to the site as an e-commerce shopping experience and be like, damn, that is an expensive cookie. Just looking at it with the images. So what they were struggling to do through just a static photo was actually translate how big these gourmet cookies were. So this filter we built with a coffee cup beside the cookie, or a glass of milk, I think, and you could just see it on your desk in proportion to how big it actually is. And it's very cool, and they saw a big difference. And what was interesting is that their target demo was a bit of an older demographic, and the user base was still using it, which I thought was really interesting because would have gone against some of my guesses.
And what an excellent opportunity there too, right? Like that we could do probably a whole show going against our guesses, and it comes right back to what were we certain of. Yesterday you were very certain that demographic would probably not be into it. You tested it, sampled it, be like, well, I am now no longer certain about that, so now I have new information to work from.
You're so right, and I do think we really are accelerating across the board our adoption of technologies and smartphones and what we can do with them. So even people that really struggled with it in the past are coming around and realizing how valuable they are.
Yeah, and I think all that stuff's incredible, and it's I hats off to you and your entire team, and to you and your wife for being bold enough to create this space going, this is the type of work we want to do, and then seeing how it resonates and the more people you've brought on, which will then result in really awesome work being done for your customers. So
Cheers,
now they
appreciate that.
They get to experience this real awesome experience. Their business grows, and now you're providing more and more for other people's families too.
Yeah, and that is something that really jazzes me personally and fulfills me. So again, my role in the company, I love that. I love being able to create a platform for other people to make money doing stuff that they love doing. To me, that's like, I was able to find on my journey something that really motivates me and doesn't necessarily stress me out. Although, of course, when you feel like people are relying you on some sense, there's an element of responsibility there, but it really does motivate me, and I love providing that for others. So, yeah, it's awesome.
It's awesome, brother. Well, I remember how I said at the start of the show we were going to get to like that 45 minute mark, and I'm going to like, whoo, we're there. Technology issues all aside, we are wildly past the 40-minute mark, so I want to be respectful of your time. So, any shout-outs you want to give before we get into the final question?
Oh, shout-outs? Yeah, you know what? Any of our team, for sure. Got to shout out my wife, who is honestly the only reason this thing is actually successful, as much as I often am the one who gets to be interviewed, which is ironic. But yeah, she's amazing. My family, everyone who commented today. And then, yeah, I would say LinkedIn, honestly. Our LinkedIn crew and my network there has been entirely just amazing and supportive, and such a cool platform to authentically network with people. And yeah, it's wish I used it appropriately back in my sales days, but yeah, it's really cool to meet people like you. So that would be my final shout out, man. And you know, with open forum and things like that, how much respect I have for you and the things that you provide other people and the value you put out into the world. So shout out to you as well.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, so to wrap this up, I ask everybody the same question. We're going to jump into my time machine. We're going to go back 10 years, kick that door open. You get to give yourself one piece of advice. What would that be?
Yeah. If I was trying to distill it down to try to say it in a simple way, I really believe for me, and we've touched a lot on this on our discussion, funny enough, but it's just this idea around limiting beliefs. And when I was younger, again, I really did think we all thought, you know, within a reasonably same window on a spectrum. But then I also thought, and this is true to an extent, you know, that people were just good at things. And that these are again, like the talents you were given, and like, figure out those specific talents that you were given and just roll with those. And that was kind of the deck you were given. And in my experience, what I've learned is that is a very closed-minded way of looking at things. And when you open up to like, hey, if I'm interested in something, I can get significantly better at that thing. I truly believe as humans, most things that can be done, we can at least be competent at, get to a competent level. So again, if it's personal or professional, doesn't really matter. It's like, hey, if I want to do this thing, what's an action I can take today to start trying to do it? And if you're consistent, if you can find a way to stay disciplined and consistent and keep the fire, like, I promise you will at least get good enough that you can now consider yourself good at this thing, right? And now you've been able to say, hey, I gave this a try and I got to fulfill that itch, and now I really know if it's something I like doing or I'm interested in. And I believe that kind of growth mindset, I wish I had it earlier, and I really wish that for most people, because I do think the more we all think that way, then what we can achieve together is really unlimited.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you very much for that answer, man.
Oh, no worries. No worries. And I'm sure 10 years from now, I might have a different answer for you. But yeah, it's, that's it. I just think that like, even simpler, just that, again, that manifestation on its own isn't going to do anything. You got to take that action of doing it, and it's that difference that makes it happen. I think that's even a more succinct way of saying what I'm trying to get at. And yeah, that's it.
I love it. I love it. And to everybody else, thank you for watching today. Steve, thanks for being on episode 74. And as always, this is the LiveCast Conversations With. I'm Gene, the coach. And until next time, we want you to find one thing that you can do some super messy action towards. Get that competence going, because it is within you. And until next time, see you next Wednesday, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.